The views and opinions on this show do not necessarily reflect the views of ESPN Tucson 1490 AM, 94.9 HD Channel 4, or the Arizona Lotus Corporation.
Spears and Ali, weekday morning 7 to 9 on 1490 AM, 94.9 HD4 ESPN Tucson.
Not in time. They pulled off the shot. We're going to overtime. And Mr. Backer, you're quite prophetic.
Have we started, or like, do I go? Do you go? Does he go?
It hadn't started, but now it has started.
It has. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Welcome to Spears and Ali Overtime.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've done a Spears and Ali Overtime episode. Here on YouTube, we are presented by Tucson Federal Credit Union, the Volpe team, and Nova Home Loans, and Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
And always looking for a main title sponsor for Overtime. So if you're out there, you got a little cheddar, extra cheddar in your pocket.
Yeah.
And you want to pay us directly, we don't need to go through sales on this one.
Not food.
Yeah.
Not food.
Yeah.
This is
Ollie made sure, like, hey, if you get a title sponsor for Spears and Ali Overtime, make sure you're not getting paid in caniacs.
Yeah.
Because you're not bringing in any money. And come on, man, you could do better than a caniac.
Straight cash, homie. You can use the money to go buy whatever you want to eat, but no, you're not taking a trade in food.
No,
Yeah.
I'm learning not to do that. But
you see that, like, brought to you by Shamrock's Food, and the whole truck is in front of Justin's house.
damn straight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, where'd you get all this cottage cheese, Justin?
Cottage cheese, it'd be chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk. Less one, but Shamrock Foods, they do a lot of different, or it's like Cisco Foods.
Yeah.
Cisco. You see the Cisco truck out there,
Mm-hmm.
all these cheese platters and everything, like salami. We're not doing that, Justin. We're not straight cash. So let me ask you guys this. So at the top of the ESPN page, it's Brian Windhorst on TV asking the very important question, as they often do on ESPN. Is Joel Embiid the most hated player in the NBA? Which, I mean, whatever.
You make an argument.
Dylan Brooks. But Joel Embiid does say stupid things and like little tweaks at LeBron, and also just came out and said, if I wasn't so injured all the time, I would be thought of as one of the greatest players of all time. And by the way, my answer to Mr. Embiid is, dude, eat a salad every once in a while and maybe not be out of shape all the time. And maybe you won't be injured as much, because when you're 7 feet, whatever tall, you tend to get injured when you're out of shape. So the biggest winner of these Olympics, Justin, the Philadelphia 76ers, because Joel Embiid is actually kind of working out in the offseason.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Staying in shape.
Well, he's still out of shape, but yeah.
I mean, it's only 2 weeks.
So my question is this. I know, but
2 weeks, and then there's that
not just
couple
2
months
weeks, not
grace
just 2
period.
weeks, because he's had, they've had practices, they've had friendlies. I mean, the Olympic Games themselves are only 2 weeks. And like you said, Justin, like me and you both know, actually all three of us, you give us too much to do some damage to our body, yeah, we got plenty of time. So Joel Embiid's got plenty of time to get fat again. It brought up an interesting question for me is, are there NBA players in the past who had a unfortunate, basically pattern of injuries, and who would have been thought of maybe with more esteem, thought of more of if they weren't injured as much?
Absolutely.
Right?
I mean, I can go down the list.
And that's what I'm asking for. I'm actually giving you a gift on this Friday, which is I'm asking you for a list, and I'm not restricting you to 5.
Oh, Top 9 Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to start with one. Derrick Rose.
Yep. He was number 1 on my list.
Derrick Rose
I'm a fan
was
of
one
him
of the
because of
best
my
basketball players I've ever watched play basketball, and was Rookie of the Year. Great start to his career. It was like those Bulls and Cavs team. It was like Derrick Rose versus LeBron James. We get this for the next 15, 20 years. It's going to be awesome. And then just unfortunately, Derrick had a injury after injury after injury, and just really never got back to the form he had when he first entered the league. So I start with Derrick Rose. He would have been thought of as even a greater player if he wasn't injured as much.
The Tom Thibodeau effect.
You think that's what it was?
Tom Thibodeau coaching the Chicago Bulls, and he's known for just grinding out his star players. And the Chicago Bulls were up by what, 20, 25 points, something like that.
I remember that. Yeah.
Derrick Rose had no business being in that game at that time. And then he suffered a torn ACL. And that was what started the snowball effect of him just constantly getting hurt. And I remember watching Derrick Rose play one season at Memphis under John Calipari, leading Memphis to the national championship, where they unfortunately lost to Kansas and Mario Chalmers and all those guys. And then he became the #1 overall pick by his hometown team, the Chicago Bulls. So it was very poetic. Like, this Chicago kid leaves for a year, becomes a #1 overall pick, is drafted by the franchise. And then the Bulls had Luol Deng. They had Joakim Noah, Taj Gibson from USC.
Yeah.
You know, they had so many great players. And then Derrick Rose was a leader of that team. And, you know, Chicago Bulls were a #1 seed, and they were going head to head with the Miami Heat that had LeBron James and all those guys. And they were in contention to get to an NBA championship. But then Derrick Rose and those injuries kind of derailed what the Chicago Bulls were really building. So that's always my what if for injuries is, you know, if Derrick Rose is able to stay healthy, you know, would we be talking about the Chicago Bulls winning a championship or two under his direction? Another one that immediately comes to mind, and you could probably speak on this more than me, is Grant Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Because Grant Hill was a superstar at Duke and was viewed as, you know, maybe he could be kind of like a Scottie Pippen type of player, where he's a point forward, can do a little bit of everything. And then injuries slowed him down, but he still had a really good basketball career. There's a number of guys that have had injuries, and we say, you know, what they could have been, but they still ended up playing for a long time. Like Tracy McGrady. Tracy McGrady is another one of those guys I put in that Grant Hill category.
Yeah, I mean, Grant Hill broke his ankle, really messed up his ankle, and just never had the same burst, never was the same player as he was at Duke and when he started in the NBA. And that's an excellent pull right there. Grant Hill, I mean, he was still good, but there was another level of Grant Hill that we never got to see in the NBA because of his injury history. And it's unfortunate. I was thinking, like, NFL wise, I mean, you can keep going basketball, but, you know, when Robert Griffin III came into the NFL for the Washington Redskins, he was drafted #2. Andrew Luck went #1. And it was debatable whether Indianapolis made the right call in going after Andrew Luck, because Robert Griffin III took him to the playoffs. He was dynamic, fast, had a good arm. And, man, that was a really good team. He hurt his knee and just never, I think it was in his second year, just really never was the same quarterback.
When they had Kirk Cousins too.
That just they drafted Richard Griffin III, #2, in the #1, first round, second overall. In the 4th round, they took Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, who would have guessed that between those two guys, and drafting quarterbacks in the NFL is just so hard, but this is really injury related. I think Kirk Cousins having a better career than Robert Griffin III is surprising. But also that injury probably helped Kirk Cousins have the career he's had. He's made
a ton
of money in the NFL. Franchise tagged a couple of times with Washington, went to Minnesota, short-term deals with a lot of guaranteed money. I mean, from a business perspective, Kirk Cousins is one of the most astute, savvy football business people that has entered the league in a long time. And where quarterback salaries are today, nobody gives the guy credit. Kirk Cousins really kind of led the charge for increasing the market price for quarterbacks. If it wasn't for him, I'm not sure you'd be seeing, you know, almost, I mean, Deshaun Watson's got a fully guaranteed contract, but other than that, you're seeing like 75% of quarterback contracts being fully guaranteed. It was Kirk Cousins that broke the barrier first. He was the trendsetter.
Any other football injuries that you think about? I mean, because there's also like the ones that there's the Wally Pitt moments, like Drew Bledsoe with Tom Brady. But you know, Drew Bledsoe's career was kind of already made at that point, I feel like.
Yeah, one big one. Yeah, Drew Bledsoe, he had a great career until he got injured. I mean, I still think, I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame, but he's right there. If he has
Hall of Fame roaster.
He's a Hall of Fame roaster.
Tom Brady is great.
I tell you what, man.
Joe Theismann?
One of the greatest. No, guys. Joe Theismann.
Theismann.
His name is Joe Theismann.
Oh,
when he's at Notre Dame, when he was a quarterback at Notre Dame going into like his senior year, he started telling people it's pronounced Theismann because he wanted it to rhyme with Heisman. That is a real story.
Wow.
One of the greatest football players I've ever seen play, and he didn't just play one sport. He was great in 2 sports, was Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
Bo Jackson played the Cincinnati Bengals. A guy named, I think, Lewis Billups tackled him from behind as he was running and completely tore his hip out, and he was never the same running back. Bo Jackson is one of those guys. If you put him in his prime today on an NFL team, he'd be the best player on the team.
Without a doubt.
And man, like I'm sure you guys have seen this, the highlight of him, like literally running up a wall in center field with the Kansas City Royals and catching the ball over the wall. Bo Jackson is one of the most crazy athletes to ever step foot on the earth.
Well, and I'll never forget when my dad told me about Bo Jackson as a youngster, and he said, yeah, he used to play baseball, and he also, when he struck out, he broke his bat over his head. And I'm thinking like he like used all of his force and just like quickly snapped it. No, he put it like over his head and just slowly compressed on it until it just snapped.
Yeah.
You know how much strength you have in order to do something like that?
He would take it over his knee and just go like that, like it was a twig.
Yeah.
He was awesome, man. I mean, you think about guys like Bo Jackson, even Deion Sanders. I mean, those 2 sport guys. I mean, I don't know if it's just the way sports are in the United States with AAU and, the multiple sport athletes are becoming, as rare as, the saber-toothed tiger right now. I don't know if we're ever going to see that 2 sport athlete anymore like those guys. It's kind of sad, but I mean, it would be awesome to watch Bo Jackson play the NFL season and then join the Royals and then just step right in and like,
yeah,
one of the best guys on the team. I mean, Bo Jackson was absolutely incredible and got drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, refused to go there, and then was traded to at the time, Los Angeles Raiders for a 5th round draft choice.
It's a pretty good deal.
I was so pissed. I was like, are you serious? Pittsburgh, we could use Bo Jackson. Give him a 4th round draft choice.
Yep.
Give him a 3rd round draft choice. Bo Jackson's awesome. He was so good. And he was so good at Auburn, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and everybody remembers like Bo Jackson playing the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle, running over Brian Bosworth. And then he took a pitch to the left. And basically it was like, if you took Bijan Robinson right now and played him against a 13-year-old senior midget team in Tucson, Arizona.
Which, by the way, for those that don't know that's a level of Pop Warner.
Yeah.
Like senior midgets.
I said 13-year-old, so you should get
it,
right?
Okay.
So the difference in speed, that's what it was like. I mean, if you don't know, go look it up. Bo Jackson, Seattle Seahawks. He ran so fast, 80-yard touchdown, that he went through the end zone into the tunnel to slow down. He was out of the stadium, man. He was really good, man. Bo Jackson. So Bo Jackson, another big what if.
See, whenever I think of the what if injuries, it's always basketball for me. Like Sam Bowie, who was drafted #1 overall by the Portland Trailblazers. Man, the Trailblazers have had some terrible luck with that #1 overall pick. They picked Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan, and then several years laata
oh no, dude, it gets
Greg
worse.
Oden instead of Kevin Durant.
Yeah, but it gets worse. They picked Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon.
Oh, geez.
Yeah,
man. And Sam Bowie was a superstar out of Kentucky, but dealt with several injuries and was unable to live up to those expectations. Same with Greg Oden, who looks like an older version of LeBron James. He's younger than LeBron, but he looks like LeBron 20 years from now. But
when he got drafted at 22 years old, he looked like he could have been brothers with Red Frocks from Sanford and Son.
Straight up.
Yeah, he's like, literally, it was like, what, you could see him yelling at his son, "What are you doing, dummy?" I mean,
No,
that
no,
would
no.
be Greg Odom. That was Sanford and Son, man. Sanford and Son. That was a great show.
It was.
How do you know?
I watched it. My dad showed
You
me
did?
some episodes growing up.
Oh man, did he?
My dad put me on
Oh,
to Sanford and
Sanford and Son. Great,
Yeah.
great job. Good fathering by your dad.
Yeah. I mean, and whenever we would see like, I don't know, we're driving by like a junkyard or something like that, or we see like a truck that's got a bunch of just stuff in the bed, we would do the
Red Fox was the best, man. He always feigned the heart attack anytime anybody brought anything that he didn't want to confront.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't remember his wife's name, but he'd be like, "I'm coming to see you, Olivia."
Yeah.
And for once, I have no idea what the fuck you guys are talking about.
Yeah, I know. Dude, I'm telling you, man,
For once,
back in the day, those little sitcoms, I mean, that was it. I mean, we had 3 channels and PBS.
Yep.
That was it. And there's no recording. It was like, this time I could be in front of the TV because the show is on. Sanford and Son was one of those shows, like I'd say, between 5 and 12 years old, when you get home from school, it was on something.
Yep.
Channel 11.
Was it Fox?
No,
then?
there's no Fox. Then.
Okay.
No.
That's what Fox is now.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, I always affiliate what if injuries to basketball players more than anything. You could put Penny Hardaway on that list too. And if Shaq never signed with the Lakers and he was still with the Magic and Penny was going through his stuff, how would we view Shaquille O'Neal in his career? Because they wouldn't have had the three-peat with the Lakers, and who knows what could have happened with Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah,
but Penny, Tracy McGrady, they had at least 5 or 6 years of like being one of the best players in the league, right?
Yep.
When you're talking about Derrick Rose or Grant Hill, I mean, they had a few years, but really derailed early on. Greg Oden really derailed early on. Yeah.
Another one, you'll like this because it's from the Pac-12 Conference of Champions, is Brandon Roy, who played at UW at Washington, was drafted to the Portland Trail Blazers. And in the early parts of his career, because when Brandon Roy was at Washington, Nate Robinson was always like the alpha male, the leader of the team. But then Nate ended up getting drafted by, I think, the Knicks or the Supersonics or something like that. And then Brandon Roy ended up becoming the guy at UW, becomes a first-round pick to the Portland Trail Blazers. And he was awesome to watch early on. And then knee injuries happened, and he was unable to recover. And now he's a coach.
The Brandon Roy, he was awesome, man. And those first couple of years, really good. And I remember, for some reason, like Portland Lakers, he has some good battles with Kobe.
Yeah.
But when he got drafted in, they already knew he had a degenerative knee issue. It was like a matter of not if, but when. And they still drafted him, I think, number 7 overall. And he had a few good years that just couldn't last. And great player. Yeah, he was really tough. Those Husky teams were with Nate Robinson and Brandon Roy.
Or Randy Foye gave Arizona buckets with Villanova.
Yeah, he did. He did. But Arizona-wise, man, we have lots of what ifs with Arizona basketball. But Brandon Ashley breaking his foot against California, not just derailing a national championship run for the Wildcats, 2014.
Yep.
But
13-14.
I thought Brandon Ashley had a real chance to be that stretch 4 in the NBA. I mean, do you think, if all things injury-wise, if Brandon Ashley were playing today, I think he would have been more highly coveted today than he was when he came out in 2013-14.
And a perfect guy for if you want to do like a small ball 5, but he's still lengthy enough to where he could play the 5.
Man, he was so good.
And, he had a little bit of a run with, I think, the Mavericks G League team. So he was right there sniffing the NBA. But yeah, if he didn't break his foot in that season in 2013-14, I mean, Nick Johnson was an All-American. You had TJ McConnell as the star point guard,
Aaron Gordon.
And people didn't know anything about TJ.
Yeah.
They're like, who's this transfer from Duquesne? Okay, let's see what he can do. And he showed
Duquesne.
From where?
Duquesne.
And he showed that he could lead, and he's a really good point guard. And with Nick Johnson as an All-American, with Aaron Gordon, like you mentioned, who's a bona fide NBA player, surefire lottery pick, and then the winningest Wildcat, or one of them in program history, and Caleb Tarzewski, they had a really good rotation. And then
such a good year.
Rondé Hollis Jefferson coming off the bench with his energy and the shimmy and his great defense and his athleticism. I mean, seeing him dunk over that 7'6" guy from UC Irvine is still one of the best things I've ever seen in McKell Center. And damn it, man, if Brandon Ashley was available to guard Frank the Tank, and now he was the biggest problem for Arizona that year.
Yeah.
And then the next season, they got Frank the Tank covered, but then this freaking guy named Sam Decker just kept lighting him up from 3-point range.
Greatest shooting exhibition I've ever seen, other than Jimmer Fredette and McHale.
Yeah, straight up. Like, they were unconscious. They could not miss.
Could not miss.
But yeah, if they had Brandon Ashley, man, that would have been an Arizona team that's going to a national championship.
But I'm just saying, like, yeah, you absolutely. And like, the difference between 10 years is striking because, you know, Brandon Ashley, if he's playing in today's game, whether it's with Sean Miller or Tommy Lloyd, he's shooting more threes. He's probably not, you know, pegged down low so much. He shot some threes, but the game has opened up so much that Brandon Ashley would have been an effective, like you said, 4-5 stretch guy. And I think if he had come out 10 years later and stayed healthy, I think Brandon Ashley would have had a chance to have a really long NBA career.
And I was hoping that Arizona could capitalize on him coming back another season because he was named most outstanding player for the Pac-12 tournament. He was awesome in that tournament stretch, and then eventually went to play in the NBA. But man, it would have been great to see Brandon Ashley come back, have that redemption story, lead Arizona to a national championship. Going back to like what if injuries for, I guess, Arizona sports, you know, I always think about football as well. And, you know, what if Rob Gronkowski was healthy during that 2009 season when Nick Foles took over as a starter? Because nobody knew about Nick Foles. They're like, oh, who's this backup transfer from Michigan State / ASU? He's competing with Matt Scott for the starting role. You know, Matt Scott won the starting quarterback job. And maybe it's because Nick Foles is the ultimate gamer, not the best practice quarterback. So Matt Scott and his mobility, because Matt Scott could run too, he won the starting role. But Arizona's offense struggled a little bit to start the year. And I remember they had like 1 or 2 cupcakes on the schedule. And then to end non-conference play, they had to go on the road and play Iowa, and the offense struggled. And then in the second half, when the game was kind of put away for Iowa, Mike Stoops decided, all right, let's try out this Nick Foles guy. Let's put him in there. And Arizona kind of got some mojo in the second half. Again, the game was already out of reach for Arizona, but they're like, this Nick Foles guy, he's showing a lot of stuff. And we had a really good fourth quarter with this guy at quarterback. Hey, coming off the bye week, starting conference play at Oregon State, let's start Nick Foles. Nick Foles leads them to a win on the road. And from that point forward, Nick Foles was always the starting quarterback. And Arizona had a very incredible run that year. They were in position to control their destiny to go to the Rose Bowl. And I think about it, I'm like, they had such a great defense. That defensive secondary with Robert Golden and Devin Ross. You look at the defensive line, you had Ricky Elmore and Brooks Reed coming off the edge with Donald Horton and Earl Mitchell,
man,
as your defensive tackles. That defensive line, the back end, they were fast, they were ferocious, and coupled with the air raid offense with Sonny Dykes as the offensive coordinator, throwing it to Terrell Turner and all these other great receivers. If Nick Foles only had a Rob Gronkowski type of player, maybe we're talking about Arizona winning at least 1 or 2 more games and them going to the Rose Bowl. That to me will always be my biggest.
Trying to depress me on a Friday. You're right.
Because Gronk had a serious back injury. He was out the whole year.
You're right. And by the way, Earl Mitchell started out as a fullback at Arizona.
Yeah.
And then moved to defensive line, had a really nice NFL career playing defensive line for the Houston Texans, and kind of went a few other teams after that. But yeah, man, that team, I mean, we got so many what ifs with Arizona sports. I wonder if other people that root for other schools are as much of like lament the what ifs as much as Arizona fans do.
Another one. What if Anu Solomon didn't get injured in that 2015 UCLA game at home on national TV with College Game Day? And he got concussed severely. And from that point forward, he was never the same. And Scooby Wright also dealt with knee injuries that year too. And so that's why I'm like cautiously optimistic. And I'm going here and knock on wood here is, you know, Arizona fans, people who follow UVA football, they're super excited about this upcoming season. But we've seen in years past, 1998 to 1999, 2014 to 2015, that follow-up year doesn't always pan out the way we think it's going to pan out. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch Arizona football this season and see how they can replicate what they did last year.
Honestly, man, as a fan of the University of Arizona, when it comes to this, especially men's basketball and football, sometimes I just feel like I'm the Wile E. Coyote and the prize is right there. The Roadrunner's right there. I'm about to eat. And then all of a sudden the Roadrunner's not there and I'm walking on air and about to fall.
Yep.
And then to make matters worse, the anvil goes on my head.
Mm-hmm.
I hope, look, Arizona football this year, the talent is there. The coaching is there. The only thing that can derail this team from having a really good year, and I think back-to-back 10-win seasons, is injuries.
Attrition.
Attrition. So that's it. Football, the best ability is availability, and it's a game of attrition. And whether you're talking, especially when you get higher up, when you're talking college or pros, having that depth to deal with attrition, but also not having too much attrition and not losing key players in key spots sometimes determines who's, comes out on top more than anything.
Man, I was just thinking about the 2009-10 seasons, because Arizona went to the Holiday Bowl with Oregon going to the Rose Bowl and all that. In 2009, they got waxed by Nebraska 33-0, but they returned everybody. So we're like, okay, let's see in 2010, let's see if they can put something together. And they had such a great start. They beat Iowa at home on national TV.
One of the greatest football games at Arizona Stadium.
100%. Place was rocking.
Place was rocking. And, big credit to the Iowa fans who showed up. By the way, get used to that with the Big 12. It was, being in that stadium that night, dude, there's two games that stick out to me. When we beat number 1 Washington at home.
92?
Yeah. I was a senior in college, and our quarterback was George Malaulu. And our defense was so good. Beating them, it was like Steve Ettman was on that team. Mark Brunell was at quarterback. Billy Joe Hobart was their other quarterback. Napoleon Kaufman was their running back. That Washington team was stacked, and we beat the number 1 team in the nation at Arizona Stadium Electric. Iowa right up there. It was a night game. National TV. And, the way the game started with the block punt.
Yep.
And just Arizona.
And the way the game ended. Iowa, they had a chance to go down the field and win the game. And the game ended with 4 straight sacks. I've never seen a game end like that.
That's right.
So it was like Brooks Reed and
Elmore.
I think it was Ricky Elmore.
Yeah.
Justin Washington, he had such a promising start and then just flamed out at defensive tackle. All those guys getting in the mix, sacking Iowa 4 straight times, and that's how the game ended. And unfortunately, I did not go to that game. I watched it on TV.
Oh, man.
And I just remember Arizona beating Iowa at home. They're nationally ranked. Arizona, I think after that win, got up all the way to number 7 in the country. I'm like, Arizona early in the season is ranked number 7 in the country. Man, I'm super excited. And then they ended up losing I think 5 or 6 straight to end the season.
Yeah, it was a tough end of the season.
It was they were 7-1 and then lost every single game after that.
And I think attrition was a part of that year. But I could just see the picture, right? Andrew, it's like Justin Spears sitting in his living room with his dad watching Iowa at Arizona. Game is electric. I think the last sack was Ricky Elmore, but the last sack, Arizona seals the game. Little Justin takes his shirt off and just starts running around the living room.
No, so at that time,
or he goes into a bag of Kahlua chocolates and just gets hammered.
No, at that time, if you listen to our Father's Day episode of this, we talked about our dads, and my dad would frequently, even though he was many years clean, would go to NA meetings. And that was one of the nights where I accompanied him at an NA meeting. I think his sponsor, Matt, he was celebrating a birthday, his anniversary from being clean. And so we got a carrot cake, went to the meeting, and I'll never forget watching the game on a little TV somewhere inside that building.
Oh, wow.
And I was standing by myself. And I was like, let's go. 4 straight sacks. Let's do it.
No, you weren't doing that. You were going, let's go.
Yes.
Carrot cake is awesome.
With the plate of carrot cake.
Happy anniversary, Matt. You got another slice for me? Carrot cake in Iowa, Arizona. That's
Mhm.
again a little TV. Good
Yep.
for you. That's a good memory.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. I'll never forget that night. But that's when I felt like this Arizona football team might be onto something. And then the disappointing finish.
So you looking forward to your adventures to come? You're going to a lot with the Big 12, Arizona, the Big 12. You being the beat reporter for Arizona football.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to go to a lot of new places and be able to. Yeah, I'm really excited for you. Like, be able to kind of explore things that you've never seen before, and the fan bases and the pageantry that still exists to a certain level with the fans in college football. I mean, I think it's going to be eye-opening for you.
It is. And the travel is going to be interesting because, good news when we were working in the Pac-12 was the airports were super easy to get to outside of Washington State and Oregon State. But every other school in the Pac, you could fly to a major airport, right? When you go into Oregon, you can fly to Portland. When you go to Stanford, Cal, fly to San Francisco. LA, LAX. Colorado, you fly into Denver. Utah, you go into Salt Lake City. So you're seeing a lot of big cities that are easy to get to. With the Big 12, it's going to be a little bit more challenging. Like Lubbock, Texas, we might have to like drive there, which is like 8 or 9 hours. Or we could fly somewhere else and get a rental car and then drive a couple of hours.
I like to drive a couple hours.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Lubbock's going to get very tricky, but I got to drive a couple hours this year. I'm flying into Kansas City for the Kansas State game. And the game's in Manhattan, Kansas, which is 2 hours away from Kansas City. And it's going to be like the Mississippi State trip a year ago where I had to fly into Jackson, get a rental car, drive 2.5 hours to Starkville and stay there. I'm going to have to get a car in Kansas City, and I'm going to drive to Topeka and stay in Topeka. And then on game day, drive 45 minutes to an hour to the stadium in Manhattan.
Topeka, they make good pudding.
So they say.
Word on the street. Yeah, man, it'll be fun though, man. This is cool.
Isn't that tapioca?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's being funny, dude.
But like Lubbock,
Just wanted to make sure I was on the
Manhattan,
same page.
even though these are obscure cities, these are people that are very passionate about their college sports. And, I will always encourage anyone. And I got that. Maybe it was because it was SEC country, but Starkville, there's only, I think, 40,000 people there, and majority of them are students. So people travel like 2, 3, sometimes 4 or 5 hours to come to these events to watch their teams play. Kansas State, it's very much like that. And there's just, I know it's out in the middle of nowhere for some of these schools, but the passion, the fan base, it's going to be unlike anything Arizona has ever experienced. And those days of going to a half empty or half full stadium at Stanford or Cal, those are
at best.
Those are long gone. That was what was so startling to me last year when Arizona played Stanford. Is I think Arizona was ranked at the time, or they were close to being ranked, and the Wildcats had a lot of promise with last year's team. And Stanford, there was nobody there, and I'm like, man, Arizona, they're 20-point favorites. Obviously, Stanford, they're the big underdog. Don't you want to be there to watch a potential upset? And they nearly upset them if it wasn't for Jaden Delores' ankle given out, Noah Fafita being thrusted into the game. But like, I saw that environment and I'm like, man, good riddance.
It sucks.
I can't wait for Arizona to get out of here.
I've been there when they were kind of good playing Arizona. Matt Scott was quarterback.
Yeah.
Blake Martinez was playing for Stanford at that time. And I'm like,
it's a library.
This kind of sucks. I mean, cool stadium, cool field, nobody in the stands. It'd be interesting to do a story if UCLA fans that go to the games are really excited about joining the Big Ten, and it wouldn't be that hard because you only have to talk to like 14 people. So,
did you know UCLA's in Los Angeles?
Oh my God, that was the worst. What was going on with that press conference with was it
Deshaun Foster?
Deshaun Foster.
I think honestly, maybe the stage / feedback from the microphones may have thrown him off, because when I was at Big 12 Media Days in Vegas asking Brent Brennan a question, I could hear myself in the background, and that threw me off. I sounded like Forrest Gump I was like talking very slow, and T-Mac is a very talented receiver. What separates him from the others in college football? And and some people were asking questions.
That was your question?
Yeah, well, T-Mac is arguably one of the best receivers in college football.
Yeah.
And your opinion, because Brent Brennan has coached guys at Oregon State, coached guys that have gone on to play in the NFL. What separates him? You, out of all the people, know what is a good receiver. What separates him from others?
Uber talented and great work ethic.
Something like that.
Yeah. You're not a lawyer, man. You don't have to ask questions you don't know the answer to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I was writing a T-Mac story because that was the big news that day, is like, what's his status for camp? But, I remember the people before me talking to other coaches. I was like, man, why are they talking so slow?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, what is going on? And then I grabbed the microphone. I'm like, oh, that's why.
But
I'm talking and I can hear myself. This is very difficult.
Okay. I mean, but
maybe Deshaun Foster got up there and was like, all right, whoa. Strange.
Well, it seemed like he didn't know
what to say. Like
it was like, by the way, you need to get up and talk about the program in front of the press, and you have 5 seconds. Go. And he's like, oh, I didn't know I was doing this. So we're really excited. And in a great conference. I mentioned we're excited. And questions?
How about that right in?
I mean, you would have thought his speechwriter was JD Vance.
Oh, man.
I mean, when he gets that feeling, I understand he needs sectional healing.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. If you know, you know.
That's funny.
But yeah, he was a train wreck. But then he got on podcasts, got on radio interviews, and he was just fine after that. So,
was he?
And I also give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt too, because we've seen coaches at their introductory press conference and they're stuttering. They don't really know what to say. Like, I remember Nick Sirianni.
Yeah, that's all-time classic.
He had a terrible introductory press conference, and people were like, this guy's going to lead the Eagles. And then Nick Sirianni took them to the Super Bowl, and that introductory press conference didn't even matter. So
my biggest gripe with Nick Sirianni is, when you score a touchdown and you're up 2, and I bet on your team to win by 2.5, why are you going for 2? It's like a minute left. Just kick the extra point and go up 3. So not only did you make the stupid football play, you lost me my bet, which you guys remember I talked about on the show extensively. And then the other thing I've got with him, like, there's a kind of a rule of thumb with some guys, is like, maybe don't trust another dude that other than maybe they don't drink anymore or don't, for whatever reason, like my brother. If they can't have a beer with you, right, then that says something about them. When you have a Friday tradition at your facility where you bring in pizza for your coaches in the city of Philadelphia, your choices are many, and you're ordering Domino's. No offense, Domino's. You're good. You're good for a pinch. But I want a pizza place that ends in a vowel, right? In Philadelphia, right? I want Giovanni's, right? I want something like that.
Domino's end in a vowel, technically?
An S. It's
Giovanni's
ends in an S.
Giovanni. It's Giovanni Pizza, and we got the pizza from Giovanni. E.
So it's got to have a name, not
Piatti, Pancello.
It's got to have a name, not an object.
If I'm in Philadelphia, it's like, hey guys, you up for cheesesteaks? Yeah, let's go. All right, cool. I got a bunch from Subway. I mean,
Charlie's
is pretty
good.
Yeah, Charlie's pretty good. Subway, not bad either. Like, time and place for everything, right?
I might go to Charlie's in the food court after this.
At Park Mall?
Yeah.
They still got it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good for them.
Charlie's still one of the most favorite places. That and like the Japanese place where they get the
Sarku, Japan.
Yeah.
Sarku, baby.
Sarku, Japan.
Extra chicken.
Extra chicken. Yeah. A little sriracha on that.
Mhm.
It's delicious. But yeah, I mean, I think it says something about Nick Sirianni. Maybe he's not all there. That you're buying pizza for your coaches, and you got a lot of fine Italian establishments in the city of brotherly love.
Mhm.
Why not
Choose one.
choose one? Yeah, be great.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
The Olympics start today, gents.
I know.
I know. How do you feel about? Are you guys okay? Men's basketball. We're all basketball fans. Maybe me and Justin more than you, Andrew. But
I mean, I like college ball. I don't really follow the NBA.
so Olympics wise, what is must see TV for you guys? I mean, you got Simone Biles.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
supposedly she's got this new move on the parallel bar. She's going to break out. That's going to wow everybody.
It's gonna be like the Tony Hawk
You got track and
900.
field.
900. Yeah.
I mean, you never the 100-meter dash.
Yeah.
is awesome.
You got Noah
And-
Lyles over there.
and what's her name?
Huh?
There's a woman that's freaking
Sha'Carri
awesome.
Richardson?
Sha'Carri, she's the
The
awesome
Team
one.
US. She got banned last Olympics because she was smoking weed.
And she's then that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you can literally smoke. All these people that got suspended from everything in the past. Now it's like, so we were wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
They literally
Rasheed
have
Wallace.
Snoop Dogg is commentating some Olympic
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
I know, right? It's really
Crip walking with the Olympic torch.
It's fun. He looks great, by the way. Snoop is like he's a cultural icon, and he's eclipsed his rap career as
Mhm.
being a cultural icon. I would say he may have just surpassed Shaquille O'Neal. I think he has.
I would say so for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I will counter that because Shaq with Inside the NBA
Yeah.
is on TV consistently.
But that's basketball wise, right? I
Yeah.
mean, Snoop has become an icon. The demographic is so
Yeah.
much larger than just basketball.
He's got a wine.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's got wine. He's got ice cream.
Yeah.
Gin and juice.
Gin and
Bombay ice
juice,
cream. He's got
yeah.
gin and juice. He's killing it, man.
All the
Yeah.
lighters.
He had a short reggae career.
Snoop Lion.
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, Snoop Lion.
Anyway, I'm excited to watch him during the Olympics, and can't wait to have him come down to Tucson in December. It's going to be
Yeah.
unbelievable. So tell me,
Okay.
is there one of the competitions in particular that maybe people wouldn't think of that you guys are like, hey, this is going to be on? I definitely want to watch this.
Rugby sevens. 100%. I've been watching that because it started Wednesday.
Yeah, I watched. What did I watch? Like Germany and Australia or something. It was pretty good.
Yeah. Short games too. It's like 10-minute halves and the clock mostly runs. They stop it sometimes, but
Well, with sevens as opposed to like when they play like 11s normally.
I think it's 12 or 13 or something like
Is
that.
it? I played. I can't remember.
Mhm.
But the sevens is so much more wide open
Mhm.
because obviously less guys. But it's rugby. Okay, so rugby sevens for you.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that New Zealand is the favorite.
New Zealand actually got knocked out yesterday.
They did.
They got knocked out by Ireland.
Wow.
No, South
even though
Africa.
they tied-
South Africa.
Okay.
South Africa.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did that yesterday too. I was like, I thought they got So I think the gold medal game the medal games are tomorrow, Saturday, the 27th. It's going to be South Africa, Fiji, France, and shit.
Oh shit, are they good? Is that a good country?
Who the fuck is?
What's the cuisine there?
Yeah, France, South
Chicken poop stew?
Africa,
Chicken poops.
Fiji. Why can't I
anyways.
remember the fourth team?
Yeah.
But yeah, the medal games are all tomorrow, and
Not
I
like
mean-
maybe a Germany or something like that.
no,
No.
I wanted to say it was Ireland, but I know they got knocked out in the eliminator.
And you already said Fiji.
yeah.
Fiji.
Fiji's never. I think at least the way they were putting it, since Fiji entered the Olympics in rugby sevens, they've never lost a game.
Wow.
They're back-to-back Olympic champions, and yeah, yesterday they won their 16th straight rugby sevens Olympic game.
I tell you what, man, the haka dance before certain rugby matches,
Mhm.
there's nothing more intense before a game. And I know like it's been kind of taken over a little bit by some football guys, especially when you got a large Polynesian contingent. But man, it is like in rugby,
Mhm.
and it's almost like it's not like in your face, kind of thing. It's not like talking shit. It's more of a ritual of respect. And
it's a challenge.
Yes.
Well, and in your face
Argentina.
Shout out to them.
Man, what's up with Argentina?
Oh, wait, hold on. My bad. Australia.
Australia.
I was looking at the bottom roster.
I was like,
or the bottom
Argentina.
bracket. South Africa, France, Fiji, Australia in the sevens finals.
The haka was performed by New Zealand basketball before they played Team USA like a decade ago. And my favorite part is just watching the looks on guys like James Harden and others. They're just like, just shocked that these guys are looking right at them dead in their eye with their tongues out, pounding their chest and doing all that. And then USA ended up winning by like 40. But yeah, for a second there, they're like, oh my God, we were playing against some crazy mofos.
Yeah. It's intimidating, man.
It's intense. I love it. I think Arizona should bring it back. I think honestly, I mean, growing up, you had the Michael Phelps of the world competing. So I was always locked into every single swimming competition because he's the greatest Olympian of all time, potentially for Team USA.
Arguably.
Like, hard pressed to find another one who's got more gold medals than him. And so watching him was always must see TV. Watching the Team USA gymnastics team was always must see. And, I'm excited for the newer events like 3-on-3 basketball and Jimmer Fredette. We all know him from Jimmer Mania from college when he was at BYU, had a cup of coffee in the NBA.
Dropping 48 at McHale against Arizona. Yeah. 49. Yeah.
And now he's representing Team USA for 3-on-3. And I'm like, that's a perfect thing for Jimmer. So I'm going to be locked in on 3-on-3 basketball. Let's see what's up with breakdancing this year too.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have breakdancing. It's called breaking.
What?
You didn't know that?
No. Did we just jump the shark in the Olympics?
I don't know.
Come on. We have breakdancing as a competition in the Olympics.
I mean, it's pretty athletic.
I don't know, man. I will watch it to make a determination. I
need Stu Dog to commentate it so we can have like you got serve references.
That would add to it for sure.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I love me Dan Hicks from Tucson, but I don't want Dan Hicks announcing the breakdancing competition. Right.
Yeah. These just like the news people doing it.
Yeah. A wonderful head turn by Zane Billadou from Ireland.
He's really going to have to nail this pop and lock here.
I love the way he's crumping, Jim. He is crumping fantastically. I've never seen anyone crump like him before. Yeah. It's like, well, this is the first time we've ever seen anybody crump in the Olympics.
Yeah.
He just did an in your face.
Yeah.
Oh, he just did the fishing pole with the middle finger. This is crazy, Jim.
Yeah.
Tony Romo should be the announcer for breaking.
Yeah.
Watch this. I don't know, Jim. I think you're going to see a flip. There might be a flip coming up. There it is. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I can't believe you didn't know breakdancing was in the...
I had no clue.
Wow.
Yeah, I had no clue. What I can't believe that was the one thing you came up with. Of all the great athletes and all the things they're doing, you're like, what time? It's on at 2 a.m. I'm in.
Yeah.
Breakdancing.
That's the one shit part about it being in Europe is that it's 9 hours ahead. So all the Olympic day for us starts at midnight.
I know. Yeah. Or we just watch it the next day and we know what the results are.
Yeah.
Rerun.
Yeah. Do you guys have, I have two like moments of the Olympics that are like highlights. Like when I think Olympics, I think of, well, it's probably more. I mean, let's just say Jesse Owens 36 Olympics in front of Hitler. Nothing's gonna
but you weren't there for that.
I wasn't there for that. Yeah. But while I'm alive, is there any like Olympic moments that like when you say the word Olympics, like immediately come to your head?
So going back to Michael Phelps, there was one race where it was so close.
Yeah.
And thankfully for technology, they went and dissected the milliseconds and they looked at the board and they're right next to each other in the lanes and they're like
cameras straight down.
They're like touching it right at the same time. And you had to like zoom in to see like who touched it first. And it was Michael Phelps who got it. And once they announced that Michael Phelps was the winner, you see him in the pool, like splash in the water, another gold medal for Michael Phelps. He continues to do it. And I just remember like feeling the great sense of pride as an American. I'm like, fuck yeah. That guy is the most badass Olympian ever, and he continues to rack up gold medals. And I also started to dive into more like Michael Phelps's training regimen. You know, that guy would swim like 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
Just constant swimming. And they would go into his diet.
Yeah.
Because
like
he would
15,000 calories a day.
Mind blowing, dude. He would eat like an entire Costco pizza and cheeseburgers and all that. I'm like, damn,
your dream without the swimming.
yeah, like I do that. I do that over the weekend. I'm just not swimming 12 hours.
There's a competitive eater. His name is Matt Stoney, and when Michael Phelps was doing that, he did the Michael Phelps diet challenge, and I think it was like 2 pounds of like spaghetti and like 2 Costco pizzas and like a rack of ham sandwiches. Like he ate like a Thanksgiving dinner to try to hit the 15,000 calories. It was crazy.
Insane.
I did the breakfast, the eggs, bacon, and mayonnaise sandwiches. Where I was like, no, I don't want to do that.
That's what broke it for you.
That's what broke it for me.
Also, you know, personally, growing up as a Kobe fan, love Kobe, Mamba mentality. And if you haven't seen it yet, the Redeem Team documentary on Netflix.
Awesome.
It's great. You know, he said that he joined Team USA because like, I'm tired of seeing you motherfuckers lose to Puerto Rico and Greece. It's like, I'm tired of seeing you losing. And when they were training in Las Vegas, you know, the guys were coming in from the club, partying, hanging out, having a good time in Vegas, like a lot of young adults do. And when they were coming back into the hotel, Kobe's in the lobby with his workout clothes and gloves. And they're like, Kobe, what are you about to do? He's like, man, I'm about to go work out. And they're like, shit. We're coming in from the club, about to go to bed, and this guy's up, about to work out. So that set the tone for these guys to follow Kobe and working out together, training together. They developed this camaraderie. There's a video somewhere where Team USA stops at a gas station somewhere, and like you have Darren Williams and Dwight Howard and LeBron, and they're all eating Wendy's. And like, could you imagine like you're traveling, you're filling up on gas, and it's like, holy shit, the Team USA basketball team is right there eating Wendy's. And in the Olympics, you know, Team USA, they were struggling against, I think, Spain in the gold medal game because they beat Spain earlier. And then Spain gave them one hell of a fight in the gold medal game. And Spain had them right there in that fourth quarter. And who was it who stepped up, helped Team USA? I think he scored 13 points down the stretch to lead them. It was Captain America at that time, Mr. Kobe Bryant. So
2008, right?
The Beijing with him and Michael Phelps in that Olympics, to me, like the Beijing Olympics was like peak Olympic experience for me.
So that's one of my 2 moments. It's I'm in the Francisco Grand Hotel in Casa Grande. We were all at different
I respect you for calling Casa Grande and not Casa Grande like all of us jabronis.
Yeah. It was a different socioeconomic time for me and my buddies. But we have guys from Phoenix all over the country. So we go to the Francisco Grande, and it's awesome. San Francisco Giants used to train there. They got pictures of Willie Mays and everything up. We're in a conference room doing our fantasy football draft, and that USA Spain game is on, and we stopped everything. And that was one of the greatest basketball games I've ever watched. And you've kind of did a great job of kind of highlighting what happened. I mean, I just will remember that moment forever because we were like all mesmerized and completely, we stopped everything we were doing in 2008 to watch that game in a little boardroom in the Francisco Grande in Casa Grande.
Kobe doing his jersey with the Team USA out.
The game before
was awesome.
Was that the game or the game where they played Spain before where he went through Paul Gasol?
That was the first one.
Yeah.
Because it was the first time playing and Kobe wanted to, you know, check in with his buddy Powell. And so he went to Powell's hotel room and he had some of his teammates there. And, you know, they were rooming together and all that. And the Spanish players were so just starstruck because Kobe Bryant was in their hotel room talking with them. And Powell was like, I think this is a chess move. I think he's doing this to soften me up. I think he's trying to get me off my guard so they can come out and slaughter us. And then Kobe was like, okay, I'm going to run through your fucking chest. And he did just that.
Well,
Powell tried setting a screen and Kobe just ran through him.
I think it was a combination of LeBron, 2008.
Yeah.
Carmelo.
Yep.
And Dwayne Wade.
Yep.
I think they started giving shit to Kobe about like, oh man, don't be soft on your teammate. And like, what is this about? And he's like, oh yeah, first play of the game, I'm going through his fucking chest. They're like, right, Kobe, right.
You're not going to do that.
First play of the game, Powell sets like a high screen, and Kobe like going through a football dummy is like ran. I mean, like there was no mistaking the intent there. And the look on Pau Gasol's face was like, what the hell
just happened?
What the hell just happened? It's like us like playing, like, let's play like a 3-on-3 fun tournament, but we're on different teams. And Justin's setting the screen and just like me or you just going, all right, Justin, I'm gonna let you know what this is about. I'm going to take a foul here.
And the best part is Kobe didn't help him up.
No.
Ran through him, got up, and then kept playing defense.
And
I think in that Olympics too, didn't he also talk shit to Luis Scola?
Oh yeah,
from Argentina.
Oh yeah,
like
a lot.
They were trashed. Kobe knew multiple languages. He knew Italian and he knew Spanish. So and that, you know, him and Pau Gasol would speak Spanish to each other. And one of my favorite moments of Kobe as a player is someone from a Spanish speaking country asked him a question in Spanish and he answered it perfectly. And in the Olympics, they played against Argentina, which had Manu Ginobili, Luis Scola. You know, there's a few NBA guys, and he would talk shit in Spanish. And the guys knew that he was talking shit. And LeBron even had to come in and was like, hey, Kobe, calm down.
Yeah.
You're getting a little too crazy here.
Luis Scola was a good little player, man. He played good in the Olympics too. And that team was really good with Manu Ginobili and Luis Scola. It was not an easy game. My all-time moment though is, I mean, it's Muhammad Ali lighting the torch.
Oh yeah.
Man.
To me, like this, like if you want like something that I watched that like literally brought me to tears, you know, the Parkinson's was advanced at that time. He was shaking, but it wasn't like to the point where he couldn't communicate, couldn't walk on his own. And man, him lighting the torch, just seeing it was like the last great thing I'm going to see from one of my heroes.
Yeah.
Was moving to say the least.
Yeah.
He was the greatest of all time, man.
I think for me, yeah.
He was.
Yeah. Gotta give the flowers to Usain Bolt in terms of my own memory.
Man, that's a good one.
Yeah. That was cool. Personally watching Delaney Schnell silver last time to 2021.
Yeah.
Right. The German weightlifter who like lifted more than he ever had and then like held a photo of his wife with him when he accepted the gold.
Oh, that's
stuff because she had died.
That's cool.
Like that year.
Man.
And he had promised her gold. Yeah.
Man.
You know what, man? One of the secrets to success of a happy marriage is to promise your wife gold and then deliver on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a gold medal, baby. But if it's gold. I mean, it was going to cost that dude some money because if he got the silver, he was going to have to go to a jewelry store on the way home and be like, I got the silver, but I brought you some gold, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of cool moments in the Olympics, and you know, there's a lot of U of A connections, a lot of Tucson connections, people in Arizona. So yeah, we'll be locked in. Hopefully Chase Budinger can win a medal.
Wouldn't that be something, man?
Yeah.
It'd be awesome. There's a great article on ESPN.com about Chase, the remaking. It's called The Remaking of Chase Budinger. I was going to send it to you guys yesterday and I forgot, but it's a cool article if you want to read it.
We'll look into it.
Unbelievable story.
Went from star McDonald's All-American to Arizona basketball player to NBA player to professional volleyball player. And, you know, he started out this journey, 2018 or something like that. And he wanted to take part in the 2020 Olympics, but didn't quite make it. And then from that point forward, he's like, okay, we're all in on Paris. Let's get to Paris. And I think it's Miles Davis. I think that's the name.
Jazz player?
No.
Oh.
I was thinking the same thing.
The great jazz legend, Miles Davis.
Miles Davis or Tim Miles. There's Miles in the name. That's his playing partner. They'll be representing Team USA.
And interestingly enough, coached by a guy named Kenny G.
With that being said, great to have you guys back for Spears and Ali Overtime.
Yeah, buddy.
It's good to be back. We'll be back next week to talk more Olympics. Plus, we got Arizona football training camp starting up as well. So football season right around the corner, fellas. And we got Olympics. Yeah. Good time to be a sports fan.
Dude, this is the time of year for us sports fanatics where it's like, okay, life can start again.
Let's get back to it.
Yeah, because that baseball break, all-star break, Thank God for soccer. Man, Copa de America and Euros really carried me this year.
Huge thanks to our sponsors, the Volpe team and Nova Home Loans, Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, and Tucson Federal Credit Union. That is it for Spears and Ali Overtime. Please subscribe and rate on Apple or Spotify, and also check us out on YouTube. And please subscribe to our YouTube page, Spears and Ali. We'll be back next week. We appreciate you guys.
Oh, and the Little League World Series in 3 weeks. Gonna be a good time.
Just no.
Come on now.
No curveballs.